Hi everyone and welcome to this first unit about Matomo Analytics. In today's session we're going to define what is digital analytics. Let's start by a quote. If you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it. And that's a good thing because it's exactly what Matomo Analytics can do for you. Matomo Analytics is a digital analytics solution. Let's define what is digital analytics. This is the quantitative, the qualitative, and as well the analysis of the competition in order to keep improving the experience of visitors on your website. Let's see that in practice with Matomo Analytics, and let's see how Matomo Analytics fits into that. Okay, so here you have one graph of Matomo Analytics, which is clearly showing you what Matomo Analytics is about. Matomo Analytics is about collecting a lot of data regarding your visitors. Those visitors are transmitting those data thanks to their browser, and this is what you can see here within the visits log. The visits log report is showing you all the data which are collected by the tracking code of Matomo. As you can see here, you can have a general overview of the different technology which are used by the given user. You can as well know from where he's coming from. You can as well know at what time he or she is coming on the website, what is the referrer of this given user, and as well you can grab some additional characteristic according to what the browser is telling you, and as well the possibility for the user to create an account on your website or not. And here you can see as well the different actions that the user is performing on your website. However, what you cannot know yet is if those given user had a good experience on your website, and that's because here we are just looking at the quantitative part, and in order to get qualitative data we need of course to use some specific features of Matomo which will require some additional tracking code. That's the example, for example, of the events report. Here in the events report you can see that you have some user who added some reviews on your website, however rate some location if you are within the tourist field. And as well we have some other features such as the session recording, which are here in order to give you even more insights about the experience that user have on your website. For example, here you have a user who is playing with his mouse. You can see it up here, you can see it going up and down, and that's the kind of thing that you can analyze as well with Matomo Analytics in order to know if some contents or some features are used and if user have overall a good experience on your website. Note as well that you may feel more comfortable with some other solution to use and to gather qualitative data. Typically, if you would like to create some survey, you will probably look at some other open source solutions such as limesurvey.org. And note as well that Matomo is not a competitive analysis software yet. Okay, for that you need to look at some solutions such as SEMrush.com, who can estimate for you the number of visits that a given website is receiving. Let's now see a little bit more in detail what Matomo Analytics can do for you. So Matomo Analytics can help you keep improving your website by let's say collecting the data of your website and then making them available on reports in order for your team to analyze those data and then make some hypotheses that they are going to test. And in order to test those hypotheses, they are going to send actually their directives, let's say, to the developer team, and the developer team will be in charge of implementing those tests on the website. And thanks to those tests, which are mainly tracking codes, you will have the possibility then to gather some new data which will then solve your issue or not. And if it's not, they're going to give you some other hypotheses to test, which going to be as well some other tracking code to implement, which going to be the subject of some data which are going to be collected, which are going to be some reports fulfilled in, and that your analytics team will be able to analyze, and so on and so forth. And that's a continuous improvement loop that you're going to have within your system. One other key question which is mostly coming is about the infrastructure of your analytics. So just to let you know that Matomo Analytics is not a project that you start like this. First of all, you build what you call a measurement plan, and this measurement plan is a document in order to clearly precise what are the different tracking code, what are the different data collection process that you would like to implement on your website. Then you need to think about let's say the technical implementation of it, and you need as well to look at it carefully when it will be implemented in order to ensure that the tracking is still on the website and still measuring some data. If you would like to know a little bit more about the different data which are collected by Matomo, just to let you know that we have a full documentation online that you can find over here under what data does Matomo track, which is listing all the data which are collected by default by Matomo, and what are as well the different data which can be added as an option, which means additional tracking code. Okay, so now let's move to one example of a measurement plan. Here is one. So here, for example, on the first row, you have the basic tracking code that you will probably define and put in place on every pages of your website. And then you will have some needs coming from your, let's say, communication team, probably your stakeholder teams, asking you actually to track users in particular when they are using some different devices, and that's the user ID, and it requires some additional tracking code. So this is where you will probably knock at the door of your developer team in order to ask for an implementation. So that's almost the end of this unit training, but just keep in mind that actually if your work, your reports, your data do not lead to any decision within your company, then just stop your work and reconsider your approach, because probably you are not using the data in the right way. Okay, so that's it for this lesson. If you would like to go further, we strongly recommend you to follow this small exercise, which just consists in trying to define with your own word what is digital analytics. We really hope that actually you enjoy this video, and thanks for watching.